Okay, now we want to do the nomenclature of acid salts, okay? If I have an anion with a charge greater than -1, so it could be -2 or -3, it can form both acids, salts, and what we call acid salts. Now, if I look at phosphate, the salt of that would be Na3PO4. And this is a crystal with a -3 thing, and it's got 3 + 1 cations floating around. So one of these breaks up into 4 parts. And this is sodium phosphate. Now I could look at the acid, H3PO4, okay? And in this I have one entity. I have a phosphorus with an oxygen, an oxygen, an oxygen, an oxygen, and a hydrogen attached, and a hydrogen attached, and a hydrogen attached. And this is a covalent molecule. And if you remember, we would call this sodium phosphate. Therefore, this would be phosphoric acid. We name it after this analogous salt. But what if, instead of having one of these a hydrogen, I had one of these as an Na+? Or instead of having 2 of these as a hydrogen, 2 of these is an Na+. These are your acid salts. So let's look at these, okay? If I have sodium, HPO4, okay, and let me write the names out. So this is sodium phosphate. This is a cation with 2 positive charges. So I have 2 positive things and 1 negative thing with a charge of -2. So I call this sodium hydrogen phosphate. Okay? And the hydrogen phosphate is the anion. And this anion has a -2 charge, because remember, phosphate has a -3. Now, I could have an additional acid salt. I could have NaH2PO4. Now I have a -1 anion and a +1 cation. Okay? And now so now I know that this is a -1 because phosphate is -3 and each of the 2 hydrogens functions as a +1. So this is a molecule. So the name would be sodium dihydrogen phosphate. And of course, if I had my phosphoric acid, it would be phosphoric acid. And that name comes from the salt. The 8 converts to an ic. Okay.